Got it. Okay. So, Kevin, if we have enough people for quorum, so we can vote on minutes and get this going while we're waiting for Jose and Jim. So if you would like to call the meeting to order.
Sure. I call the order Tourism Commission meeting for January 21st, 2025. First item on the list is approval of minutes. Get a motion.
I move to approve.
Any seconds?
Also second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion's good. And then we're going to the miscellaneous this time, or we're gonna?
Yes.
We want to
we're
do
gonna go
updates
straight-
first, or right to the recap?
Let's do the recap. Oh, let's do Destination Madison so they don't have to sit through the rest of this.
Okay. So I'd like to welcome Destination Madison to the Tourism Commission meeting. They're going to give us their annual report.
Who wants the clicker?
Ooh.
Oh.
Really? Okay.
It's your lucky day.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, I clicked as I started for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, just hit the back button on the screen.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Hold on. Do you want me to start it? Here, I got it. There we go.
Okay. There we go. So hi, everyone, and thank you for having us in today to give the recap. We'll do quick introductions just in case you don't know who each of us are, but I'm Ellie Westmitchin. I'm the president and CEO of Destination Madison.
I'm Jamie Patrick. I'm one of our EVPs. I oversee our sales team and our sports commission.
I'm Maureen Martin, and I oversee our partnerships and community engagement. And I'm Kate Dale, other EVP, oversee brand strategy and communications.
Great. So we will jump right in. There you go. Success.
There's going to be a teeny tiny delay for you, just so you know.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. So we're going to kind of jump in with an overview of what our objectives are day in, day out at Madison, Destination Madison, and for the county. So first and foremost, we're trying to elevate our destination. We all want more visitors. We want that impact. So we work really on what are those points of difference of why they should visit us as opposed to any other destination that they're hearing from. We work very hard, Jamie and his team, to attract a diverse array of sports and conventions. We just got back from PCMA, which was highly successful, which is all in the convention space of what we do. We want to exceed visitor expectations. So when they come in, no matter where they are in our destination, we want them to have such a great experience and really, go home and be ambassadors for us and say, I just went and you should come and this is really great. We want to inspire and work with all of our community partners, talk about what are you doing? What are we doing? How can we collaborate? How can we lift up together? Advocate. This is a big one because we're spending a lot of time here right now, and this is everything from working with the airport to get more direct flights. That is a real thing for us. And we just lost a piece of business, and they said it's because we don't have any direct flights from the West Coast, or no, we have one seasonal direct flight from the West Coast. Doesn't cover what they need. So where is it in our community that we can step up and just continue to educate about tourism and why these things are important and how that affects the visitors that are coming to us? And then we all want to grow our destinations as far as that visitor impact is concerned. I mean, I would say that everybody in this room, so to speak, and those online, we would love to see more visitors. We'd love to see more people staying in our hotels, eating at our restaurants, and going to the Mustard Museum. So, how can we continue to increase that visitor impact in each of our destinations? So we're going to jump into how we do it. So storytelling and outreach. I love this little bowling video for the mustard with the mustard, but we take our roles as storytellers really seriously, and this is probably, I would say we exceed in this role, but we work closely with Mari and her team. We work with others in our community to say, what are you doing that we can lift up and tell that story, whether that's through our social channels or on blogs or on our website, or really when we're at shows and we're talking face to face with visitors, meeting planners, and tour operators. Selling and supporting, this past year, we went to about 42 different trade shows because we have learned very quickly that if we're not in front of them, our competitors are, and they're going to get the lead instead of us get the lead. And so Jamie and his team were really road warriors this past year and will be again this year. But we're staying in front of these planners, whether it's a sports planner or a meeting planner, to really say why Dane County is such a unique destination to meet in and what that experience can be that they're not going to have somewhere else. I think we take the cake for friendliness, service, these things that, and what we hear a lot from our planners is how well our community collaborates. They're like, we go to other communities, they're not talking to the Maury of Middleton, they're not talking to the hotel group, we're kind of on our own. We're here, we are all communicating, and we hear that loud and clear from our planners. And collaboration, advocacy, and research. So collaboration really falls under the area that Maureen oversees, but you know, how can we work together more? How can we work together more collaboratively? We all have you know, different things that we're trying to accomplish, but a lot of the same things as well. And then we have really done a lot of investment into research, and you know, everything's online nowadays. Everything is digital. Everything is data analytics. So we can all spend our money more strategically and probably more focused because we know what is out there that is working and is not working. And we can instantly pull an ad or pull a post if we're like, that's not working. Let's get it up, get this one up, and make sure that everything that we're putting out there is hitting the mark of the expectation that we've set. So to dive, that's kind of an overview. But to dive a little bit deeper in, I'm going to turn over to Kate.
All right. All right, I'm going to give you a little update on the marketing PR side. Some of this is familiar, especially for Mari, but starting with our audiences. So Jamie and his team really focus on the B2B, and we support on the branded side, we support them. But then we also work to how do we attract the leisure visitor. And a couple years ago, we spent a significant amount of time in research understanding who our most valuable audiences are. And what we shifted to was more of a mindset-driven persona target market. So what is bringing them here, the why? Instead of the age and their demographics in the more of the traditional sense. So what we determined is really we're looking at three primary audiences. So one is active traveler. Those are the people looking for the jam packet, everything in. A lot of them typically are traveling with children. Our next one is culture seeker. They're looking for that immersive art experiences, which could be more like a beer. Doesn't necessarily have to be more of the traditional art and entertainment sense. That one does skew a little bit older, but again, trying to stay away from age profiling as much as what's their behavior and why they're coming here. And then third is the casual getaway. Those are the people coming here for the who, not the what, meaning that they're coming here to visit their child who's at UW or your family or friends coming to stay with you for the weekend. Way back when we used to call that term visiting friends or relatives, and it was really big in the CVB world and kind of pulled away from it. But we realized in a lot of our research that is what was driving people to Madison, and that's also leveraging the passion that those who live within Dane County have for this area and bringing them here to experience it. So that's a really quick snapshot of some of those audiences. You'll obviously have access to this deck afterwards and can dig into it, but we also took the time to figure out where to reach these people. What are the most effective media that we can buy? What are the messaging to make sure we to reach them in the places that they are? And we've executed that over the last couple of years. Another thing that we did in 24, which is really awesome, was we expanded our brand awareness to new audiences. And one of those was how do we saturate the Chicago market further? Chicago market is by far our most valuable market. They're coming here, they're spending a lot of money, they're staying many nights, as I'm sure you can probably attest to in your own hotels and here in Middleton. So we decided to leverage the DNC or the convention that took place this past summer. And we did a full 2-month window of how do we get Madison and Dane County out into the Chicago market. So took advantage of this double-decker bus that went up and down Michigan Avenue and all the tourist spots. And we had this spin on the lake effect. We kind of played around with what Chicago or Milwaukee people will say about the lake effect and had a bit more of a fun, relaxing twist to it. We also had billboards and out of home throughout the entire city. We had a full digital campaign, and this generated 6.3 million impressions. That's really conservative because we don't know how many eyeballs actually a bus saw, but we were able to observe from the placements that we did have direct metrics behind. So now we'll watch to see, we've already seen an uptick in Chicago traffic via Zartico, which is the geolocation-based platform that we invest in to see cell phone data coming to Madison. But we'll see over the next year the lift that we had thanks to this campaign. One other thing we spent a lot of time in this last year, and we will a little bit in this year, but more so even next year, is direct flight markets. So we were in 6 direct flight markets from both paid and earned media. So LA, that is increased from LA, but they're not a direct. That is a mistake on there. But we did have Phoenix, Newark, DC, LaGuardia, and Denver and Dallas. That we spent time in this past year. Saw an uptick in all of them. This year, we're going to do a little bit of a step back and do some research, understanding each of those markets, why they're coming, when they're coming, and how to speak to them more effectively. So we'll be doing some media and earned media in those markets, but more so spending some time in 26. But this was a big increase. LA, the reason that is on there, it's not direct, but we did see an uptick in LA, which is really great to see.
And we saw an uptick in Denver, but we're learning very quickly that through our research that people are coming out of the south to the north in the summertime because it's gotten so miserably hot. So they're coming up where, you know, it's 85 or 90 and they can be outside and play and do all that and looking for a break.
Yeah, Dallas, I mean,
That was
really
big for
popped
Dallas.
in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Moving forward, we inspire more visits through our Always On Paid campaign. So we have an Always On Paid campaign throughout the year. This year in 25, you'll hear us talk about this more later in the year. We're spending most of our time between the March and fall time period, but we still will have some Always On advertising. But you see some examples of some of the media that we had launched across all of our platforms, which received 69+ million user views. We had a 98% completion rate for our brand video on connected TV, so Hulu's, Disney Plus, those type of things. We had really high above industry benchmark across the board, but really a paid search. So our click-through rate was over 13%. And then similarly on Facebook, Instagram, while it seems low, if you're not a marketer, 1.66, that is actually a crazy high number. So we are excited for where that is. And then as Mari and Laura are familiar with, we have our trails and hopefully Kevin from Capital Brewery, but we have Madison on Tap, Madison by Bike that we launched. And then we also launched a couple years ago, but we launched a smaller gift guide this year, this past year. And we're looking to do a couple more trails yet this year. But those engaged visitors and had over almost 4,000 trail check-ins along the way. Top states included Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. Our website, we had the highest traffic to our website ever on record at 4.4 million times. So those top performing pages included events, things to do, home and restaurants. We're really excited for the attraction that we had to the website this past year and look forward to leveraging that going forward. You can see here some of the places that Middleton was featured within the website. These are just a small sampling of them, but always looking for ways that the team is how we can integrate Middleton into our content. And then our social channels generated another record-breaking 40.6 million impressions. You see a couple of the samples here from our iconic Eat series, but we published over 1,500 pieces of social content in 2024, which is a really impressive number. And then we had over 512,000 engagements on our social posts. We also have over 102,000 followers across all social platforms. No surprise, we're keeping a close eye on the changing landscape on social and looking to pivot as needed and optimize. But we're excited for what numbers we had.
TikTok, we're on. We're off. We're on.
Yeah. TikTok did really, really well for us this past year, so we're keeping a close eye on where that's going to go, how we keep those visitors engaged. Again, you see a few of those social posts that did feature Middleton. This is just a sampling of them, but obviously it performed really well. Hopefully we're beneficial to you. Oh, those fries look so good right now.
Yeah, they do.
Oh. And then on the PR side, we exceeded our goals with 36 top tier media mentions. We had travel writers visiting 222 of our local businesses. And then we were featured on Good Morning Washington in DC, which was great. There was a whole week series where they featured Madison and already seen an uptick in people visiting from that and generated some great viewership and social impressions. And then I know Mari has been able to leverage Top Chef 2, which is fantastic. We were super excited that we were able to bring that here and had over 2 million people view that Top Chef Madison episode. on Bravo, and millions more streamed it, but really thrilled with how that all worked out. We are actually past our contract window of how much we can talk about it or say the words Top Chef, but we'll continue to leverage the culinary exposure that it gave us last year. And speaking of PR and some of the earned media, I mean, some of this shouldn't look familiar or should look familiar to Mari and Laura, but this is some of the PR generated to specifically Middleton. So that generated over 355,000 impressions. So a few of those from travel writers and traditional PR. And then unless there's any questions on that, right away, I can pass it over to Jamie to talk about sales.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kate. So as Ellie mentioned, our sales team has been out on the road a lot this past year, and will continue to be there, whether it's servicing citywides or different groups or getting out there. The bottom left-hand picture is our new booth. We unveiled that last year at IPW, and we've continued to add enhancements as we've learned and evolved. We've worked on that with Kate and her team to really bring the B2B visuals to life. And people just love the city, especially if they're unfamiliar with it. It gets us to the point of like, hey, we're now able to attract you because they think the city's pretty. At this particular conference, we also sponsored a chapter reception. We had people come up and say, hey, we weren't interested in you guys at all. But now after seeing just some images, we want to learn more, and wherever it fits, they're at least interested in our destination as a whole. We added scratch tickets, pull tabs this year as an activation thing to get more people into our booth, which worked out phenomenally well. We also had, from all of our B2B advertising, we just had an independent planner that lives in Madison tell us that all of our work is uplifting even their business, which we obviously don't see that coming through ours. So that was a really nice compliment to what our team has kind of been working on, just creating business for everybody. Our team is mostly set up geographically with a few exceptions. Sports is split between Brandon and I by room nights. And then, we have some vertical markets. Samantha Brown works on our tour groups actually collaborates really well with Laura. So that's kind of a nice collaboration that we're happy to have. We actually won the National Tour Association in 2027. So that will bring a couple thousand people here, a lot of tour operators that will showcase our city. So that's kind of a big win for us going forward. Just on the convention sales side, we sent 90 leads to the area, booked 8,000 in Middleton specifically. Five of those specific events, such as science teachers and a couple others. This year, we're actually hosting American Trails that will actually be at Monona Terrace. But those are for trail professionals and all types, whether it's running trails, snowmobile trails, single track, anything that brings different trail people, and they're going to really get outside in all the county, different properties throughout the county and the state properties, which I think will be neat for all of our groups because it'll help elevate everything we're doing from a trails perspective here in Wisconsin. And then our team spends quite a long time making sure our citywides are strong and continue. WIA, World Dairy Expo, Ironman, Iron Kids, and Epic. Just spending a lot of time servicing those. The WIA is almost complete with they're working through their final contract year here, but we redesigned our whole welcome program, brought different initiatives, enhancements to those kids so that those will stay here, because we know that it's really difficult to replace February, March annual business. So we want to keep those here. Same with all those other programs, which we just got to remind ourselves that we shouldn't take any of those for granted, because all of them have been sort of under threat the last number of years.
And for a couple of those, we'll see our competitors on site at these events, checking them out to try to steal them. So Jamie's team works really hard on that relationship and making sure they want to stay in our area because competition's fierce. And so we're protecting those relationships.
And then on the sports commission side of things, some PR and earned media. This hasn't shown up in our numbers yet because we haven't contracts haven't necessarily been signed yet, but like it was some really good PR and media that we got for winning the NCAA Division III men's hockey national championships for 2028. A great economic impact. We're really hoping Stevens Point makes it because that will bring a big crowd to it. So hopefully they can stay strong for a few years. So thank you for your collaboration on that and many of the other sporting events that we book here. We're excited about it. That was a beast of a bid to put together. So it was really rewarding to see when it came to fruition. And then similar stats, 49 different leads, 3 that have booked, broomball championships. What else we got? The MC Scout National Championships, the USA Hockey event. So some really strong events, and we've got a lot in the hopper coming up. I know Brandon's going to talk after this about the Sled Hockey National Championships. We've got some darts kind of in the works. So we're starting to build back up after the pandemic kind of hangover. So I feel pretty good where we're at and kind of what we're in the mix on. And just events that aren't even booked here, like the middle school championships that have room nights that kind of overflow into Middleton. So it's been a solid build back year. And then we have a youth grant. Our cycle just closed, but for anybody that knows anybody that needs help getting into sports, we've given out over $500,000, primarily funded from the Ironman Foundation and some of our local fundraising programs to get kids into sports. It builds connections with our clubs. It also gives everybody a chance to play, and we think everybody should have a chance to play sports. So if you ever know any group that have kids that need scholarships or equipment, have those groups apply on their behalf. It's a great way to get kids active and healthy in our community, so everybody has a fair shot.
Great.
Awesome. And then over to partnership. So Kate talked about marketing the destination and Jamie selling the destination, and the partnership work is really the engagement and communication and work within our destination with all of those partners that make great experiences for visitors. So we focus on making Madison a safe and welcoming place for all. I appreciate Mari and really your whole team for participating in some of the educational programming that we were able to put on this year for our partners to make sure that when we market and promote this destination as being welcoming and safe, that we're following through on that and people on the front lines have that training. So we were glad to bring back a LGBTQ plus hospitality training. We did towards the end of the year, we formed an LGBTQ plus advisory committee because we know that having insights from those that are in the community or strong allies of the community will really help our authentic branding and messaging going forward. And then we sponsored the Magic Pride Festival as well as the Open Foundation annual dinner, again showing that as a destination, as a tourism group, that we were present in our community and we reflect all. We celebrated the hospitality industry with service excellence. So we brought back our Destination Madison Award 2 years ago. It's really an opportunity for all of us to celebrate and recognize the individuals and the businesses that make our visitor experiences unique. We were proud to have Patty Gonzalez, who is a housekeeper from the Homewood Suites, Madison West, be one of the nominees this past year. And we'll continue to have this as an annual event, again, celebrating those individuals. And then the timing of this event comes right when we get our industry impact figures. So being able to say, these are the individuals, and then this is the impact on our local community that visitors bring. We, out of our 3-year strategic plan, had some workforce initiatives really specific around hospitality workforce. We know that we're strongest when we have people that are trained and in place to be able to carry out those services. And so we launched a hospitality job board. We launched it towards the end of the year, so we were thrilled with receiving 200 applications in 2 months. And this does a couple different things for us. One is that it's unique. It's really a focused job board on this industry, and that doesn't exist elsewhere. And it also allowed us to work with a advertising agency to create some messaging to really elevate the industry, to show how fun or flexible it is, to hopefully appeal to those who hospitality might not have been on their radar, or they might be looking to return to the workforce if they're retired. So we've seen great participation in that.
And then overall, as an organization and really within our work with partners, we boosted partner engagement by 35% over the previous year. We did that through having a record number of events and seeing attendance grow. A lot of that, the invitations go out broadly into the community, but we really look to make sure that those business owners, especially our Middleton partners, are able to come and participate in those tourism. A lot of times they're marketing and educational programming. The other thing I would also echo, I know Kate showed some visual earlier, but the brand team has been creating original, great content consistently. It really is 365 days, whether it's social media or updates on our website. And so making sure that our partners, whether it's the Middleton partnership that we have with you all, or the businesses within Middleton or the trails of Middleton, we want to make sure that we integrate that through our various blogs and on social media. We are looking forward to 2025 this year and beyond. So you all probably know Mari and I and a number of us in this room had some great conversations in 2024 around our partnership, things that we could enhance, things that you would be looking for. And so reflected on the screen are some of those enhancements that we're just kind of activating right now in this year. They include higher visibility at key locations. So we have our information booth at the Dane County Regional Airport and have your Middleton guide sitting on top so that people can grab them, whether we're staffed there during staffed hours or not. One of the things that we heard was dedicated and consistent messaging or information on our website. And so we're going to be creating a community landing page specific to Middleton. It will direct back to the Middleton Tourism website, of course, but it'll be a way that we can really aggregate a lot of the business listings, the sports venues, even the photos that we have of Middleton to kind of make sure that we have that prominent landing space for you. We are, Kate had mentioned Zartico data and making sure that that's a resource that we can leverage and really collaborate on. I know that you have Placer AI, but we'll be providing a Zartico with a report with some annual data trends. And I think that can really spur a lot of conversations with us around is what we're seeing aligning with what you're seeing in your platforms, and kind of seeing how we can maximize those investments in those platforms. And then the Middleton Spotlight, this is also new, having a blog that is dedicated specifically to Middleton, and then we'll be amplifying that blog in our leisure newsletter and on a social media reel. So that's kind of extending that promotion. Above and beyond that, it's really, I think, a lot of the collaboration, the information sharing that we have with our 17% partners, which you are. And so to strengthen that relationship and engagement, we're going to be hosting quarterly meetings this year, just as a small group to say, here's what we have coming up in our pipeline. What do you have coming up? How can we better align our efforts and keep that communication going? And so those meetings have been scheduled and will kick off in February. A lot of text, won't go through everything here, but just wanted again to reflect on the significant investment that Middleton makes in our work. We don't take that lightly. I think, as we do all of our efforts in sales and marketing and outreach, advocacy, we think about our key community partners and how can we share that information with you? How does it affect you? And so this is a list of those exclusive benefits at the 17% level. And again, Mari has this deck if you ever want to go back and look at it. And this is just our sincere thank you. I know Middleton has been a strong partner of ours for many years, and over that time it's evolved in terms of players around the table or the initiatives that we have. But I think where we've always come together and found our strength is that as a destination, we're really elevating the brand of our Dane County community, and we're seeing that through our hotels and through all of our hospitality partners who benefit. So I'm happy to open it up for questions. But again, thank you for having us today.
Maybe not throw it.
I won't throw.
I was throw me. Bring back everybody on screen. Oh, and Jose. Hi, Jose. Oh, and Jim made it too. Did anybody have? I did write down a few questions that I'm just gonna follow up with you guys on. It's just like some stuff where I'm like, can you look that up for me? But I appreciate all of you coming out. Does anybody have any specific questions for them right now? And I will share the deck out. I have the PDF, which will we'll post along with the minutes. But you can also email me if you're like, hey, that thing that they were talking about, what were they referencing? Feel free to, shoot me an email at any time, and I'll email Maureen or Kate. So
I don't have any,
if you have
specific
questions,
questions, but man, great presentation. Thank you for all of the work that you do for Middleton, Madison, the surrounding communities. Very clear and concise information. So thank you very, very much.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Kate.
you.
okay. Sorry, I was writing. Anybody have anything else they want to? Okay. Well,
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
thank
good.
you.
you guys, we're going to hit pause for just a minute while everybody
While
gets
we
their coats.
Shuffle.
Yeah, get all bundled back up.
We'll bundle back up there.
Okay. Thank you guys. Just wanted to be able to walk them out. I can share the agenda. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay. So we're going a little bit backwards. We're gonna go to grants next so that we can vote. And then that way, I didn't know if anybody had a busy night and had to log off. So this way we can get all the things that require quorum out of the way right away. And I think Brandon is still with us.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Jim, are you taking over or is Kevin continuing?
Kevin can run with it.
I passed the torch.
All righty. First grant application here on the agenda is the 2026 Sled and Warrior Hockey National Championships. I'll just read what it says here. Warrior Hockey is a program for injured and disabled U.S. military veterans. 2026 Sled Hockey National Championships suggested for April 26 at Middleton and Verona. Expected overnights at 2,700 total room nights. 26 National Championships suggested for that same month with 1,800 total room nights. They're seeking $15,000 in grants for both events, $7,500 for each sheet of ice, it looks like. Brandon, this one's yours.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yep.
anything more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey everyone, thank you for having me. You guys are probably wondering, hey, didn't we just fund a USA Hockey event? Well, we did, and it's here this April. So that's the Youth National Championships for 15 and 16 under. So that is tracking very well. I know it's going to have a huge impact there in Middleton and beyond. So we're very excited about that. This particular event is the disabled division of USA Hockey. So it's a really new and interesting event that they rolled out just within the last couple of years here. The first one was hosted in Pennsylvania, but they are back-to-back weekends, which is a big lift. There's only so many facilities that can do this, and we think we have a great partnership with Legacy 20 Arena in Middleton there, and then Verona as well. So the sled hockey is the youth portion of that, as Jim outlined. That would be the first weekend. They experienced 60 teams in the first year, over 1,000 players, and then the warrior hockey would be the following weekend. That would be needs a little less ice sheets. It's 750 roughly disabled U.S. military members. And that would be played between Middleton and then the new DeForest Yards project in DeForest there. So the amount we're seeking to help pay for some of these costs, we're anticipating that just doing the math that between both of these events, there'll be over 250 hours of ice time alone. Which if anybody knows ice time rental costs, that adds up very fast. So part of that funding is to help offset some of those costs to Andrew and his team to put on a very memorable event. And that's where you see that number. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Brandon, when I emailed you to follow up about room nights, so I just wanted to add for everybody, he was seeing a 50-50, he's anticipating a 50-50 split on hotel room nights for the Warrior Championships, and that's the one that would be held here and Verona. And then the sled hockey, which would be here in DeForest, he was seeing that he was anticipating that we would get 2/3 of the room nights from that. And so he said that in all, he anticipates 2,000 overnight room stays between the two events for Middleton.
And then are the facility fees that you're anticipating, the 15,000, for Middleton specific ice? Or are you saying like for the Verona DeForest and Middleton, it's 15,000?
It would be for the Middleton portion. We're also seeking funding from Verona for that portion. So for sled hockey, we do plan to approach them if we're awarded this for funding to help pay for those costs in Verona. The Warrior hockey one is actually the one that would be between DeForest and Middleton. So that one would be a little different. But yeah, overall, I think conservatively between both of these, I anticipate easily having
Anybody who's
2,000.
not speaking, can you turn your mics off? Because we're getting a lot of feedback. Thanks. Sorry, Brandon.
No worries. Yeah, so it was a conservative estimate just based on the numbers. Like I said, it's a new event, but it looks very well attended. And as we know, youth tournaments in particular, families travel as well. So the other thing I'll say about this is I don't want to date myself, but there's people in this room who remember when we had the Adapted Sports USA Junior Nationals at the high school there, and I thought really put Middleton and Madison on the map as a very accessible city. And I think this falls right in line with that as well, and why I think it's a great fit for something to pursue for Middleton.
Anybody
Just a
have any other
marketing,
questions?
just a marketing question, I guess. So will you do you, or is there a way to put on your communications or social media, anything that goes out to the families that will be traveling for the tournament, like our Visit Middleton video or a link to Visit Middleton? Like what type of marketing do you do?
Yeah, if we were awarded this, I anticipate we'd work directly, like we have with Laura and Mari there with like broomball to and curling to make sure we get those videos and marketing deliverables out, and working with USA Hockey, knowing that that's important. And I know Andrew Judre at the arena would make every effort to make sure that's highlighted wherever necessary or where appropriate.
Mari, what have we done in the past, like with them for marketing?
I know with curling, we had a banner along the rink, if that sounds correct.
Yeah.
And it was a huge banner. We wound up, we did throw it away because it was so huge, we had no way to store it.
A lot of storage, yeah.
That's the only one that I know of that we did a banner for.
So nothing
Yeah.
no digital marketing leading up to the.
Oh no, there was one too where they did request videos and they played our 15-second commercial during
The stream,
well,
yeah.
Yeah, on the
We
screen.
also had our logo on the ice for, was it curling?
I don't remember
For
which
curling,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Would it be appropriate for us to just follow up with an email asking, what could we expect from this so that we make sure that we order things or supply logos in advance?
Yeah, absolutely. And I
know with
I just
USA, I can't necessarily say I require this, but could we ask, is
Yeah.
what is possible?
Yeah, I don't see any harm in that. I don't think that USA Hockey is gonna have any strong feelings over that. They're mostly concerned if there's any, competitive sponsors, which this wouldn't interfere with that. So
And is this
I
a
don't.
pay to play?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about USA Hockey. Like the last one, the teams are actually required to stay in the room blocks, which is different, that than some sports groups. Otherwise, they get a pretty significant fine, so much so that it basically deters you if you're playing in the tournament. You need to stay. They really do implement a stay to play policy, probably better than any I've seen so far on my end. So that is a nice benefit of this group in particular.
I would just make a note that it would be really nice to be able to do something where it's like come early and experience this and X, Y, and Z in Middleton, or stay a few days longer and experience whatever we have going on. That was my question about marketing is, can we
Pre-promote.
capture them for a few days before or after the event?
Is that something that we've ever done, or has Madison ever done with one of these sports events, had the ability to maybe like email the participants or anything?
I'm trying to think if I'm trying to recall, not to my knowledge, but with something like this, it's more possible because the teams are qualified earlier. So I'm happy to check on that.
Yeah, an email or a
I think
postcard, something that we'd be allowed to do.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm happy to look into all of those or see what USA Hockey thinks has worked well in the past if we're awarded it. I did just check with our contact to see if he has an update because they are making a decision soon, and I was told we're down to the final four cities they're looking at. So we're in the running, and we should know fairly soon if we're getting this bid. So
Weekend occupancy in April is always great. Obviously, over here on the west side, I can tell you that first set of dates we've already got a hotel buyout, so we would be looking at basically Greenway, all the hotels behind me, everybody being full that weekend. Second weekend, we could assist with a sub block possibly, but yeah, it would be a busy couple weekends for Middleton, that's for sure.
Anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, we can have Jim call a vote and then we can still follow it up with more questions.
Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move to fund the grant requested of 7,500 or 15,000 total for the USA Sled and Warrior Hockey National Championships.
Todd made the motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Grant funding passes, Brandon.
And Brandon, when
Awesome.
I send you the letter, I'll include the topics that we discussed.
Great. That sounds great. And if I hear anything back before then, Mari, I'll email you just to keep you updated.
Great.
Do you know what the
Awesome.
other cities it's in between? You said we're in the final four.
I do not at this time. I was hoping to hear back before this meeting, but I haven't heard. So
Where is it this year?
uh,
Do you know where
this
it's in
no,
2025?
I believe it's in Florida. Let me check real fast. Yeah, it's in Coral Springs, Florida.
Okay.
It's where the Florida Panthers play, the professional hockey team.
That's the Warrior hockey tournament.
That was sled. I believe Warrior would happen at the same facility just the following weekend. Yep, it's at the same location.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Brandon. Like I said, I'll follow up with the official letter, but I'll include the questions and topics that everybody asked today.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. Stay warm.
You
Take care,
too.
Brent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, the next grant application is for a program on my property, so I'll need to recuse myself from the conversation.
Sure.
Kevin, you want to go over
So,
that one?
yep. So the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is just requesting $1,000 marketing sponsorship for their WBA Awards for Excellence Gala on May 3rd, and it will be at the Marriott. The overnight stays expected are around 90. They had about 80 something this last year. And this is a sponsorship for marketing. So we get listed in the program. Our logo gets listed when you walk in. And basically, it just goes to the cost of printing the program, which actually costs more than $1,000. So it's not even covering the entire cost. And they've actually sent me photos last year and let me use them for our website of they do themes. And it was very cool
It's
to
super
see,
cute.
like, because they had a professional designer come in and do the themes.
Mhm.
And so I asked if I could get any photos to use for our website, and I mean, without people in them, and he shared those right away. So we have funded this before in the past. I know we've done it at least 2 years. I can look to see in the. Technically, this falls under the I could approve it without bringing it to NTC, but because it doesn't have necessarily the same room nights, but it almost does. It's not 100 room nights. They're looking at 80 to 90. But it's a nice piece of business for this little area because it brings all of these media people to Middleton and Greenway Station. So if anybody has any questions, I can try and answer them because I've been working with Kyle now for a couple of years. But otherwise, can I get a motion to approve the grant? And Jim, you can't say anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the $1,000 grant, marketing grant for the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Oh, and I should also add, they do provide me a post-event report, even though it's only $1,000. He always does.
I second it.
Any further questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 I heard 3 ayes. I need a 4th.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay. So that is all the voting portion of our evening, folks. Now we're back into our regularly scheduled programming. Jim, take it away.
Hotel updates. We just got the full month star from December, and we did achieve 102 RevPAR index, which is kind of the metric we were focusing on all year. Last year, more so than occupancy, was RevPAR, which stands for revenue per available room for anybody that might not know. So that was a very positive end to the year. Other than that, I really don't have too much to report. We've booked a lot of business in January already to start this year, but unfortunately, the vast majority of it's for future year, not much for 2025. So nothing real impactful on the horizon. But I guess the good news is that we have booked a lot of business already this month in just the first 3 weeks. So that's positive. Todd, you got anything else?
Oh, I was going to quickly ask Jim, do you have anything for with the NFL draft coming up? Everybody is always asking me, do you think Middleton's going to see anything? I can't imagine people staying this far away and busing over, but
Yeah.
I did hear that Fox Cities is like they rented something like 5 or 6 buses, but because the routes have to stop and the turnaround, it's going to be like, I think she said 1.5 hours to 2 hours to go there, be dropped off, the bus turnaround, come all the way back. Don't quote me on that, people who might be watching, but she said it was going to be a significant time. It's free, and it's convenient. But I was like, wow, we're only an hour
You
and a
would
half
think it
away.
would be a lot less time.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. That doesn't mean you're on the bus for 2 hours, but it means that it might take 2 hours for the bus to make it all the way back. And so times between shifts will be further than people were thinking. But I don't know. I just don't think that we're anticipating huge room blocks. I will also mention, I spoke to like even Green Bay, pretty much everything has been taken up by the people who actually run the draft.
Yeah.
And now everything is being looked at outside of Green Bay. But even with Appleton doing their massive bus, like free bus routes, they're not sold out. People are, because the tickets to the draft are free, people are waiting till the last minute to decide what they want to do for the hotels. And so, which could pay out or could completely bomb. They could wind up paying so much more for their hotel rooms. But I don't know if we would see anything this far over. And as far as trying to engage people who might be driving up for the weekend to stop here on the way, that is something, I mean, we were talking about, like, how do we reach out to those people in a different way? And I haven't really figured out how to do that. I haven't seen anyone else doing it yet either. But we are still in the Chicago market, of course. We're in the Northern Illinois market. Hopefully we're on top of mind for people, but I just wanted to throw that out there about the draft.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You know, we haven't really internally anticipated any impact from it. Yeah, I think that it'll obviously hit the Fox Cities, Appleton, and then probably northern Milwaukee before anything would even reach us. And then I don't know, maybe Stevens Point even too, if you're heading down, you know, the central part of the state. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This is the first time event, obviously, as everybody's aware. So we really have no idea what to expect.
All right, Todd.
I really don't have a whole lot to add, I guess. December or 2024, you know, finished okay, I guess. And we're optimistic about 2025, but yet to be seen. From a pace standpoint, I mean, my properties are looking pretty decent for 2025. Again, it's more occupancy. We're still fighting the ADR thing, but we're anticipating it being a decent year.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Actually, earlier this week, or no, end of last week, I had a call and we were looking at transient pace specifically, looking forward the next 6, 8, 10, 12 months. And as it compared to same time last year, transient reservations that we had on the books. And just about any month that we looked at, we had double the amount of transient reservations as we did same time last year looking forward. So now, obviously, some of that, you know, July, you've got the Coldplay concert, right? We got caught with our pants down on that one a little bit, and we're sold out. So, you know, having 290 rooms sold at this point for one night in July is gonna skew those numbers pretty heavily. But looking at off months where there's really not a large local event that's drawing people in from outside, it held true looking at those months too. So, I mean, that's real positive.
I was wondering about the Coldplay concert because I saw that RFP come through.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as that was announced, I came in the next morning and we were sold out.
Well, I think tickets sold out within like 20
Sold out
minutes.
so fast. I
Yeah.
was out of luck.
And there's another concert coming up at Camp Randall in June as well. I still don't know who it is
End of
though.
June.
Yeah.
You don't know who it is?
No, I don't yet.
No.
There's rumors it might be The Weeknd or whoever this guy is. I'm not sure. A little old for The Weeknd, but you know.
I heard it's Morgan Wallen.
Are you serious?
Okay. Yeah, his
Who's
name was
that?
listed. There was like 5 artists listed by this tour and travel company that's handling it. Yeah, and that was one. That could be. and hopefully that all goes well. I mean, the more concerts that they hold down there, we obviously saw right away that Coldplay, I mean, it just ate up all of our hotel rooms over here. So, I mean, if Camp Randall can become a demand generator for us outside of football games, that would be fantastic.
I
Absolutely.
think that they think the same thing. I was in a DM board meeting and they were
Yeah.
talking about it, and I think that they knew that it would be popular, right? It would be well received. They had no idea what they were doing when they opened up Camp Randall for a live concert in the summer, because we're kind of starved for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that I wouldn't be surprised at all if more things started getting coordinated. I mean, as long as the events go well this summer and we don't have any like kerfuffle, right? Like as long as it doesn't become a drain on resources or something ruined or whatever, like there's no reason why not to utilize that space when it's not being used for anything else, make money off of it while it's sitting there.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. Not that I got tickets, but I'll enjoy it like via Facebook like everybody else. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go through my director's updates super quick. I did want to, so the first thing, Yuri got back to me with an updated version of, so this would go on the outside of the building, the lodge that's being built at the, right now it's called the CXC Outdoor Center, right? Because we don't have a formal name for the area or the buildings or the lodge. So this would be the lodge, the Middleton Nordic Center, what we donated toward. This would be and that logo on the top is the consistent logo for all the CXC everything. One of the versions that they sent me had our logo in there, and I was like, you don't want to be crossing logos. You want the whole thing to look like one facility. Our thing was we wanted the name Middleton in there so that it wasn't, the last name of somebody or corporation. We wanted people to at least be able to refer to, oh, it's in the Middleton Nordic Center. And they did take some of our feedback. The text was so much smaller. And I just thought it looked ridiculous to have teeny tiny text with that giant logo. I still kind of feel like the logo itself is a little large. But what are you guys' thoughts? He kind of has to know because the artist, they need it approved so that they can get going on stuff. Do you guys have any more feedback? Do you want any other changes to it? The font is also the CXC font, so I wouldn't really play too much with the fonts unless it was to make something bigger or bolder or something.
No, I'm okay with it.
Yep, same. No changes. Good with
I like it.
I did ask, I was like, are we gonna be able to see this from anywhere? And it's kind of, the whole building is sort of obscured, so we'll see if we can actually see the sign from something. Okay, I will get back to Yuri and say this one is good to go. The second thing is the visitor guide is out. Postcards are available. We ordered extra this year in case the chamber needed any. We highlighted, as Kate kind of hinted toward, we highlighted all things Middleton that are special to Middleton, what we call the middle things, whenever we're referring to the middle things. So it's a charcuterie board of Wisconsin favorites, but only things that you can get in Middleton. So instead of brats, it's the Albanian sausage at Sofra. Capital Brewery is in there. And so that's kind of the way we're leaning a little bit this year. And we aren't using Top Chef, the name, though honestly, I don't think it matters if I do because I never signed anything with Top Chef. But so honestly, I think we could still say, if you've ever watched Top Chef season whatever from last year. So anyway, that is out for everybody. And back here, that's what all this is. I just received the December Star report this morning, and so I just put together a few things for you. I was sharing with Todd earlier, so wanted to make sure Jim heard. Hold on, might as well go back that way. So this is the December report. Occupancy in Middleton. The occupancy rate in December was at 44.1% overall. which is 8.6% higher than last year's. And that's the only percentage overall that I'm going to give publicly, but if you want to email me and ask for specific star information, I can do that. I can't by contract release like the whole report. Year to date occupancy is up 8.3%. So I just wanted to say thank you to the team, thank you to your sales teams, thank you to all the people who are ambassadors. We did a good job. We brought people to Middleton. This is where things get a little bit painful. ADR, the December ADR rate was down 2.1% from last year. And year to date, it is down 3.3%. And so, I mean, you all know what that means. For every dollar we made, we had to work harder for it. And the RevPAR, December's RevPAR was up 6.4 and year to date up 4.6. And revenue in December was up 6.4% from last year, year to date up 4.6%. So again, you guys had to sell a lot more to get that number since ADR was so low. And I don't know how to help on ADR, but if there are things that you think can help, like we were talking about the UW football games, if we're going to continue to partner with UW on that next fall, do we start talking about having buses? And if so, we should start that this spring and get those contracts in order. Like, how can we help you all sell those hotel rooms during the times when we're now competing with more rooms downtown? And again, remember the grants. I haven't actually received a grant request in a really long time. Also with Star Report, they were purchased by CoStar, and CoStar charges almost twice as much. So they did allow me to sign a contract for 1 more year under the previous agreement. But I will have to look to see if there is something, I can't read that.
I have to exit the meeting pretty soon. I am at the food fight office.
Okay, great.
Bye,
Thank you.
Jose.
Bye. But the Star Report, I might have to look to see if there is either another option out there that's delivering the same kind of information, or if there's a way for us to co-op with DM or someone else. Because CoStar is like the Super Bowl of data information, which I do not need. It's like the stuff that a city municipality or somebody might use, though they don't. They use a different software. But I don't need to know like what properties are coming up for sale or if there's a B&B. I just need like my basic monthly report. So I'm going to be getting back to you on that. I'm not sure how things will go. If I've reached out to other CEOs and they are all in the same boat, we're all looking at like this huge price increase. I was lucky. I'm one of the few people that they let grandfather in because we're such small potatoes. But like a lot of the larger destinations had to make that jump. So that's all I have for that. And I just wanted to say that next month in February, we are looking at doing a full 2024 revenue report and finance report. I should, cross my fingers, have the revenue numbers by then. So I should be able to give you your full annual report. I'll probably include some marketing data in there as well. And I haven't received any more grants, but we still have 2 weeks for someone to get a grant in under the wire. And then in March, I may or may not be reaching out about moving our meeting. I might be going down, I might be on vacations. I might be visiting my family. Right now I'm trying to schedule around that Tuesday, but it's getting hard with flights to the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. So anyway, I might be reaching out for that. Does anyone have any questions or comments about anything we went through today?
Nope, I'm good.
I pass it back to you, Jim.
All right. Would anybody with any other items for the next meeting agenda we want to have added, or would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adios, everybody. Have a great evening.
5:11.
Nice.
Thanks all.
Hey, Mari. Once you're done recording, I just have a quick question for you.
Sure. Stop recording.